Welcome, my name is Amanda and this is the Sew Comfort YouTube channel. Please subscribe. I am so excited you are here today to take a break and dive into the world of sewing. I believe everyone can learn to sew, and it is my goal to help you move from beginner to confident. To continue the conversation on Facebook, please join our private group, Sew Comfort with Amanda. Let's get started with today's topic. Today, we're going to talk about the top 10 items that a sewer needs in order to do their craft. The very first is going to be your sewing machine. It can be borrowed, it can be new, it could be used. It just needs to be in good working order. If you are purchasing something, please look for a machine that you can grow into, typically 30 or more stitches, a drop-in bobbin, or a automatic buttonholer are recommended. So for number 2, we actually need to put something in our machine that does the bottom stitch, and that is called a bobbin. A bobbin is a small spool on which you put thread. The bobbin that you need is specific to your machine, so check your owner's manual to make sure you have the right one. So what goes on a bobbin? That's number 3. That is our thread. In my hand, I have 3 different versions of thread. One is by Coats & Clark, another is by Sewology, and the third is by Gutermann. Coats & Clark and Sewology are budget-friendly threads. They are all-purpose, 40 weight. They are a higher length thread and may not work in some of your higher-end machines. Gutermann, Robertson Anton, Madeira, other low-length 40 weight threads are recommended for your higher end machines. You will see me use Gutermann most of the time. So now I have thread, I have a bobbin, I have a machine. What am I going to put that thread through? Well, I'm going to put it through a needle, and I'm going to go over the one that my machine uses. This is a Smith's Universal Flat Shank Needle. Your machine will tell you what you need. The top 3 sizes that you need for needles is a 70-10, an 80-12, or a 90-14. A 70-10 is a very fine needle. It's used for satin, chiffon, organza, and other fine materials. An 80-12 is used for a medium weight fabric. You can use it for lightweight cotton, gauze, chambray, and other materials. A 90-14 is used by the majority of people. It does leave a larger hole than an 80-12, so I actually recommend an 80-12 for cotton, but some people will say a 90-14 is perfect. You can use it for lightweight denim, duck, lightweight canvas, nylon, polyester fleece, flannel, and other materials that are more forgiving of a larger hole or need the tensile strength that a 90-14 has. Tensile strength is your needle strength. So if you're going to use a thick leather or a thick denim, then you need a leather needle, which is a 116. All right, so now how do I put my fabrics together? Well, you use what's called a pin. And I actually have 3 different versions of pins that I'm going to show you. This is a long ballpoint pen. This is a flat pen. It's used for quilting. The long pins are often used for garment construction. However, my favorite to use, and I actually had to grow into this, I used to use the long ones all the time, are the regular glass head ballpoint pens. I do not recommend the ones that don't have any sort of colored end. And the reason I say that is because I have run over those because I didn't see them. And when you run over a pen with your needle, you can actually break your needle. So be very cautious about running over your pins. So now, what did I have those in? Those pens get put on what's called a pin cushion. This is a magnetic one. I keep it by my sewing machine so that I can put the pins on it as I go, and then they don't roll under my feet. This is just a really cute little pen cushion that I got at a craft fair. It is made from cotton with sawdust or sand inside. You can use this type. They come in all different shapes, colors, and sizes to match your sewing room, but I find these are harder to use when you're in the middle of sewing. So now number 7 is an item we'll use to mark our fabric. We need to make sure when we're quilting, making a pillowcase, or other projects that we have the right size of fabric and the right size piece is cut. So we actually want to use a ruler. This is an acrylic ruler. It's 1/8 of an inch thick. It is only 6.5 inches long. However, you can buy these in all different lengths, up to 24 inches, I believe is the largest I have. You can also use a mat or a standard school ruler that typically costs $1 at Walmart. Now, I have my sewing machine, my bobbin, my thread, my needle, my pins, pin cushion, ruler. How am I going to mark my fabric? Well, you need a special tool for marking your fabric. I have used a regular old ballpoint pen, and you know what happened? It bled everywhere, and I had to throw that piece of fabric away after I washed it because the ink went, well, it turned my white fabric light blue. Not pretty, not what I wanted. So when you're marking on fabric, you want to buy a tool that's intended for marking on fabric. The purple pens are disappearing ink or air soluble. What that means is that you have 5 to 15 minutes in order to work on your project. If you need to put it up and it's a light fabric, then you're going to want a water soluble. You cannot remove this with just a washcloth and water. You actually have to soak the item, either really wash it in the washing machine or soak it afterwards. Now, if you have a dark fabric, say a dark denim, black, charcoal gray, or even navy, you are going to want a light colored pencil. This is a charcoal pencil that actually came from the art supply area of Hobby Lobby. You can also buy them at Michael's. These are wonderful for working with fabric. They're not very expensive and they are sharpened just like a regular pencil. This is a soapstone pencil. It is found in the quilting section. It is more expensive. However, this works just like tailor's chalk and they both will flick off. This one needs a little bit of water to get it off. Sometimes this will, sometimes it won't. So now that I've marked my fabric, I need to cut it. And when I cut, I need just a basic pair of scissors. Now, the style and the cost of your scissors are going to be determined by your budget and what you're going to do with them. This is a pair of titanium. They also come in just regular. This is your standard Fiskars. You can buy them at any place that scissors are sold. They're sharp as long as you don't use them on paper. This is my favorite. It is great for somebody who is left-handed. It's called a Soft Touch Fiskars. They are still available, but they look a little different. They don't fatigue your hand, and if you're left-handed, there's no hole to mess you up. You can also buy Gingher scissors, which are dressmaker shears. They're heavy, but they're absolutely wonderful because you can sharpen them, which will mean you're not buying them as often. Now, number 10 is the way we erase mistakes. Because let's be honest, in sewing, it's all about precision, but it's forgiving because you can erase your mistakes. And the way we do that is we utilize a seam ripper. Or these are snips by Gingher. And this is a pair of embroidery scissors from Fiskars. Any of these will get under the thread and allow you to remove them. And once you remove your thread, you just kind of move your finger along the line and most of the time your stitches will disappear and you can start over. So now that we've gone through our top 10 items, I'm going to go over a bonus item. Now this is for the scenario of maybe you put on a favorite shirt or a dress or a tie and you snagged it with your fingernail. The same thing happens when you're sewing. And it definitely ruins my day when I cut my nail with a pair of scissors or a snips or even catch it with my pen and I don't have something to fix it. So I started putting an emery board, just like this, next to my sewing machine. And I take this now on the road with me too. That way, if I ever snag a fingernail or cut it, I can fix it. Oh, my favorite is when you go to put your machine together and you break it on the case. Yeah, that's happened. So there you are. That is the top 10 items that a seamstress will need in order to do their craft. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Sew Comfort.